Greetings, everyone. This is Griffin Gaming RPG, and welcome back to the Soul Citizens. And we've got a very special show this week. We appreciate you guys dropping in again, hanging out with us on a Sunday evening. And along with me co-hosting today is none other than my good friend Kelosal. Kelosal, you there? Okay, the Gremlins are back, guys. We have had no Gremlins for the past couple weeks. I don't know what's going on, but you guys can hear me now, right? Okay, great. Thank you, Cosmic. Anyway, I was just saying that the title for the show this week is Org Building, the Ultimate Test. And one of the reasons why we invited Montoya on board is the org that I'm in, which is TEST Squadron. He happens to be the leader of that group. Also, Kelosal is a part of that group as well. And so it was easy to ask him because we'd have to bribe anybody else. And so he came on board and said he would answer some questions today, not just about TEST Squadron, but about orgs in particular. So if you guys have any questions about orgs, definitely there's a link that's going to pop up where you can ask questions, or you can put it in chat and just make sure you put question in capital letters and brackets, just like they do for Star Citizen, and hopefully we'll catch them when they go by. So we're going to, standards already starting the questions before we even get started. So let's start real easy, first off, without giving too much away about your persona. And thank you for the follow. Without giving too much away about your persona or destroying your mystery man image, tell us a little bit about you.
What is this mystery man image?
Yeah, the
really?
mystery
Is that
man,
how you
yeah.
see
Who
me?
are you? Yes, the mystery man. No one
who
knows.
does not PR around you? This is terrible.
Where'd he come from? Where's he going? Tell us a little something.
Well, before we begin, I just want to say thank you very much for having me on the show. It's been great watching this show grow from its very beginning, which was not too long ago, to what it's become. And I've heard a lot of good things said about you from many different people.
Are they paying you?
And definitely going places. I think you're onto something with this show. It's going to be enormous, gigantic. This is going to be huge. And it's an honor being here in the early days of it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate
it. Platitudes are done. And now to answer the question. So sorry, repeat the question, please.
Yeah, well, the question is just tell us a little bit about you. Whatever you want to share, it's up to you. I mean, other than the fact that we know that you're over TEST Squadron, anything else?
Well, it's like when you go on a date and you go, well, tell me about yourself. Like, can you be more specific exactly? Like, do you prefer fish or steak? Because you said, tell me about yourself. I'll say, well, I like long walks on the beach.
Okay.
And beautiful sunsets. So
that's a good place.
Give me a specific, and I'll see if I can answer that.
Okay. Well, okay. I tell you what. Let me jump into this question. What about you got you into video gaming? Why don't we start with something like that? Tell us that much about it.
I've always been, same story from people from my generation. My dad came home one day with an Atari and Pong. And remember, you're old. Remember the controller, which you had to control the knob like this, and that made the little Pong thing go up and down.
And the paddle.
So that's the first game I remember in the Atari. And from there, we got the Apple IIe. And my dad was good in that he kept up with, it cost a fortune back then in South Africa even.
Yeah.
Even more to get an Apple IIe. And with the A and B drive, with the drives were stacked and you can put the discs in both of them. That was like very advanced at the time. And he was good that he kind of he wanted the kids to be comfortable with technology from the beginning. And I guess the easiest way for kids to get involved is games, right? So, what was the earliest games on the Apple II? Wolfenstein?
Yeah, oh boy, that's really going back.
Star Runner, like Choplifter, like all of those, So, it grew from there. The computer was always something we had. And like I was one of the few kids in my circles that even had a computer. And like all the kids would come over to my place and check out the computer and be involved. So it's always been something which is there in the very beginning.
Okay. And let me ask you this. I know it's not on the question, but was there anything that sparked you toward, obviously you have a love for space games. Was there anything that stuck with you that kind of led you into the whole space genre of gaming?
I've been a fan of science fiction for the longest time. I think obviously Star Trek is one of the earliest shows I remember, where just being in space and exploration and aliens and fighting aliens, the original Spock and Kirk, that's what always sparked my interest, more so than, say, fantasy. So science fiction's always been first and foremost on my list of interests. Battlestar Galactica, the original, and the new one I absolutely love. Star Wars, obviously. Everyone goes to Star Wars, but Yeah, space has always been Space Quest. Thank you, Major Masker in chat. Yes. Oh my God, Space Quest, best game ever. So yeah, I've always been interested. Ironically enough, I actually did not know or did not play Wing Commander. I don't know how I missed that completely. But I never actually knew who Chris Roberts was until Star Citizen. I know it's blasphemy, but
Wow.
here we are.
That's interesting because I wasn't big into it. Even though I played it, for some reason it didn't grab me. I only saw the Wing Commander, the very first one, and I remember Elite, but I didn't do any of the other sequels. I didn't do Freelancer. I didn't do any of the other games. So in a way, I'm kind of like you. I kind of knew about Chris Roberts, but I don't know. I think what happened by that time, I got away from space stuff and went toward the more Dungeons and Dragons, kind of the Ultima stuff, more than the space stuff back then.
Nerd.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, let me hit on to the next thing. Let's move on to talk about orgs, because that's the big thing. We don't want to talk about you. We want to talk about orgs.
Oh, I thought the show was supposed to be on me. Oh man,
I know,
I'm out of here.
sure.
Wasting my time.
What is a gaming organization in the first place? I mean, what is it? In your own definition.
Okay, so what is a gaming organization? Well,
Yeah.
in my mind, it's basically a bunch of people come together to spend some time playing a game, which requires multiple people working together as a group. I mean, it morphs into something way beyond that. I don't know how deep you want to get into the topic, but the bare minimum, the essential part of it is just people getting together to share a common love of a game they're all involved in the most basic form. But I mean, it morphs into something more as you spend more time in an org. It becomes where you drop in every evening and there's the regulars. And like I drop into chat and I see you and we start chatting and what's happening in your life, you know, what's happening in my life. And it becomes like an extended family in a sense. So gaming orgs, I see, have become a modern kind of social groups where, you know, in the old days, women get together for tea parties and chat and stuff. But now some drop into Discord, you know, have a seat, and this is after dinner, and the kids are in bed, and people sit down, and you know, you shoot the shit. Can I swear? I'm sorry. What's the policy on swearing? Unfortunately, I haven't kept up with the rules.
That's okay.
But it becomes a sort of extended family and friends type social circle. That's what gaming orgs have turned into, in my mind, anyway.
That's cool. Do you see any benefits to, or what I shouldn't ask you, do you see? Because obviously you run one. What are the benefits of someone who's in an org versus somebody who kind of plays solo or, you know, just in the gaming community, but not a part of an actual, you know, structured organization?
What's the benefits of being in an org? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Well, obviously the numbers, but I mean, if you play Skyrim and you jump into an org that plays Skyrim, and what is the benefit of being in a big org that plays Skyrim, which is a single player game? You can share screenshots, or maybe there's some new mod coming out that can tell you about it. Beyond that, there isn't much help in being in a large org. But when it comes to a game like Star Citizen, which will one day be a game, totally not a scam, not a scam, there'll be a lot of benefit to having people sitting around ready to jump in at any time to have your back. And as we already see in many ships, you need turret gunners. The Carrack being a classic example of a ship which benefits greatly from having people man the turrets and do activities. I mean, a lot of gameplay loops are not in yet. An engineer will be essential in the near future. But for the time being, it's greatly beneficial almost to anyone who has a large ship in this game, Star Citizen, to jump in. Hey, I'm taking out my hammerhead. I need some gunners. Who's up? And there'll be 5, 10, 15 people saying, yeah, I'm up for it. Let's go. So obviously that is the immediate benefit with regard to Star Citizen in being an organization.
And I would assume then other any type of MMO RPG benefits, I guess, from that type of situation if you're in an org. I mean, you mentioned like sharing information, like, you know, patches or images and stuff, but is there other benefits, like other type of MMO games? Are there benefits for that too in orgs?
What do you mean other game? Fine.
What other games, right? What other games are you possibly talking about?
What we see happening naturally in our own, obviously our organization, TEST Squadron, was founded and started for the sole purpose of playing in Star Citizen. But because Star Citizen is taking so long, no one expected 8-9 years of development here. 15 years it will be. We've branched off. I mean, I see right now there's people playing Elder Scrolls. There's people playing World of Warcraft. I was playing Escape from Tarkov with Monk and just the other day, and like people splitting off and playing all other games already.
Okay.
While we all wait for Star Citizen, but Star Citizen is like our bread and butter. We will come back to that. So yeah, it's definitely been very beneficial to having a large group of people involved here, just to
Blasphemy. I don't know what you're talking about. I played just Star Citizen.
That's a dedicated
That's
testy.
why you will soon be the leader of Test. That's what I like to hear.
Well, let me ask you that then. What made you decide to create a gaming org anyway? Because I mean, from what I've seen, it's no small task. What made you even decide to? Well, let me ask you this: what did you move from that made you to come here and decide to make a gaming org?
That is a great question, and I don't think I really thought it through. It wasn't my. I didn't see Star Citizen and go, yeah, I want to make an organization in that. That's what I want to do. It was not highly on my, very high in the list of things I wanted to do in life. I kind of just fell into it, I think, when Star Citizen said they're going to create organizations and allow people to have groups. It's like, okay, so you know what? I'll start a little group up. This is before they had the official orgs on Spectrum. And I thought maybe, we'll get 10, 20, 30 people and we'll have a cool group and do stuff. But beyond that, I didn't really give it much thought. It wasn't really my intention to go beyond that. But hey, you know what? Life throws these opportunities at you, and this is where we are.
Okay. Did you just decide to say just doing it to get some friends together, or did you have some intention of actually growing it into something?
That kind of happened organically. At the time when we started this, there were a couple of large groups that already existed, Imperium being one of them. At the time, Imperium, I guess we don't hear much from them anymore, but back in the day, Imperium was the gold standard. They had 3,000 members. Chris Roberts was a member of their forums. They had this beautiful branding and just everything done so nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think we'd ever get anywhere near that. I thought, all right, you know what? We'll have a subreddit. We have the r/TEST Squadron subreddit, and we'll have a couple of people on the subreddit, and they'll be our organization. Didn't really think past that. But what happened was we put out, well, I and Sung, initially the first two founders here, were putting out just propaganda, like, funny images, funny memes, little short clips of edited video, and no one else at the time was doing that. And we got a massive, very positive reaction to that.
Mm.
And people were saying, you know what, I like the way these guys are doing things. Like, I want to hang out with these guys. And so when we had 50 members join, then 60, then 70, and it became 100. And we realized that, there's people looking for a group to be a part of, and no one's actually putting themselves out there and putting out this kind of propaganda or media to show people, like, hey, this is what we're about. Come join us. It's happening now, but back then there was no such thing. And we're just right place, right time, and we seem to just hit on the right chord, and it grew.
Okay. And how did Star Citizen become? I mean, you mentioned earlier, and you alluded to this, that players do play other games. I know, like you said, World of Warcraft. We've got people playing Ark. We've got people playing Tarkov. Has the general idea been to keep Star Citizen the central focal game for the org?
Sorry, your audio cut off there, Griff. Can you repeat?
Oh, it did? I'm so sorry. I said, I know you mentioned a little bit about this earlier, that there are different games that are being played, World of Warcraft, people playing ESO, Tarkov. Was it also, like, was Star Citizen always to be the central focal point and these other games kind of revolve around it? Or did you eventually say, well, we're getting more numbers for Star Citizen, let's make that the main thing?
Well, initially, you're cutting out towards the end of your sentence there.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I heard most of it.
Okay.
The org was founded specifically for Star Citizen.
Okay.
There wasn't anything else we were doing. Mm-hmm. At the time when we started this thing, was 2014, 2013, I forget which year it was. But back then, we were under the impression, under good authority, that the game would be out in 2014.
Yeah, right.
Maybe 2015 if it took a bit longer. The test was specifically created for Star Citizen. But as we waited and more people joined, we've kind of split into many other games that people are playing for the meantime. But I fully expect that once Star Citizen does launch, obviously that is the bread and butter and what we're doing most of. And Colosal's been very quiet, so should we open up to him, or is this?
Well, yeah. Listen. You're a guest. Don't produce. Listen. He's. I got Cosmic producing. I got you producing. All the test people are producing.
I'm not being used.
Kelosal is number 7, so he's next. All right.
Just keep looking at the cute, fluffy-looking dog gun. He's basically telling you so. You're going to answer the questions.
Yeah, I'm going to be quiet now and let Kelosal talk. Go ahead, Kelosal.
Well,
Uh,
Montoya, first of all, it's great to have you on the show, and
it's nice to
on the
meet you
flip
too.
side of it, it's good to finally start to ask you the questions now instead of being on the other side of the shoe. But one of the questions often asked about Test Squadron is, are you the same test as an Eve? And is there any connection or relation to that test, to that org?
That is a wonderful question. And the answer to that is no, there is no connection. Now, obviously, the name Test was synonymous with Eve until we actually, no, there were other test groups which existed before we came along. I and a couple of other people, when we started playing Star Citizen, were in a group called Test Platoon. Wow, it's been a long time. Test Platoon was a group of guys playing PlanetSide 2. And those guys they split off from Eve to focus on PlanetSide 2, and they made Test Platoon. And when I started playing PlanetSide 2, I was playing with them. Then there was a group of guys called not Test Ninjas. They were playing Warframe, and there was a Test Clan in Warframe also. But they had nothing to do with Test Eve either. They were guys that came from Test PlanetSide. So when I saw Star Citizen and we started off a group there was actually zero connection to Eve at all.
Right.
And the name Test kind of implied also, hey, the game's in alpha and we're testing the game. So it kind of just made sense. There was no intention to say nor did we ever claim we're part of any evil group at all in that. But that's kind of where it sprung from. Right. So, I mean, the PlanetSide 2 clan, I don't know if they're around. They might be, haven't kept in touch. The Warframe clan disappeared. And I guess we're one of the offshoots from the PlanetSide group that became this.
Right. So in other words, to be clear, the Test Squadron is in no relation. The Test Squadron in Star Citizen is in no relation to the test that's in Eve.
Absolutely no. There's no connection. I mean, we get people who come by and go, "Hey, you guys from Eve?" Going, "We're not." And they say, "Well, I was in Test in Eve," and I say, "Well, okay, we're not the same test." And sometimes they come here looking for the Eve group. It's rare. Most Eve players remain in Eve. But it's pretty much known by now that there's no connection at all in that sense.
You've heard it here first, and Soul Citizen.
No, I've said this 1,000 times. I wasn't here first.
So now that we got that cleared up, because we had a whole bunch of wonderful people in the world who always try to sit there and try to make that connection. There is no connection, folks. Number 8.
Well, you want to get more complicated, okay? Imperium, which are formerly the goons in Eve. There's an Imperium in Star Citizen.
Right.
And so I've had people go, "Hey, you guys are fighting Imperium," and I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" He goes, "You fight Imperium." I'm going, "What game are you referring to?" Because there's an Imperium group in Star Citizen that is not in any way connected to Eve also. So it's very confusing in that sense. I can understand.
Absolutely. Okay. And how is Test Squadron? How was Test Squadron created, and with who?
Wonderful question. So there's a button that says create org, and I pushed it, and it says enter org name. And that was, Does it answer the question?
Well, yeah. It's part of it. The other thing is there, because the community that you've built is so impressive
so
in size, right?
When they said there would be organizations in the game one, they're like, "Oh, really?" So let me see. Test Squadron. Squadron 42. By the 999th, which are the in-game lore Test Squadron, which is very cool. Coincidence again. But Test Squadron, I mean, it said Squadron 42, and we tested the game, so Test Squadron is the name. I said, that sounds cool. Like, can I possibly get someone? I had no friends anyway that wanted to be involved in this. And I went onto a bunch of different gaming subreddits, and I was posting, "Hey, I'm starting a group in Star Citizen. Does anyone want to join?" And people said, "No, not interested. The game is a scam, never going to happen." And I got one response on Reddit from this guy named Citizen44. And he goes, "Yeah, this Star Citizen thing looks cool. Let's do it." Okay, so off we went, and I registered the website, and we stuck up some forums. So Citizen44 and I were, I guess, the members 1 and 2, and we took it from there.
Wow. Any other, any word on who are the other 2?
The other 2?
As far as the other 2 creators.
No.
There's no other two. I don't know about any other two.
Right,
That's
there's
news to
one.
me.
The chief of all chiefs. All right. So with that being the case, TEST Squadron arguably is one of the largest organizations in Star Citizen, perhaps the largest organization in Star Citizen. Could you elaborate more on that and how you've been able to successfully achieve that in terms of the growth and in terms of the size? And could you also elaborate as to how many members you have currently in the game?
Yes.
Drink your water, H2O.
Thanks, OM1, and thanks, Scuba Steve, for the host.
At 19,350, as of earlier, it's probably the same number right now, is where we're at. Majority of these members came along in the early days. We're talking 2014 to 2016 is where the bulk of it came in. As far as our size, we are, depending on how it's calculated, I mean, we approached Guinness Book of Records and we asked, hey, like, are we the largest org in the world? And they came back to us a couple of months later and said, yes, you are. So it's sweet. Okay, so we'll take your word for it. I know there's larger groups in other games, but those groups are specifically maybe coalitions and alliances between other groups also. But according to Guinness Book of Records, that is a record we do currently hold and we're very proud of. It's obviously taken a lot of work to get to the point there, but it is a proud matter of fact.
Wow.
Sorry, the other question was?
The other question was basically how are you proud of that achievement? How did you come by maintaining such a large membership? And also, Major is asking, when can we get to some Test Squad?
We do have a merch, starting with the last question first. Test.gg has a link to merch there where you can get a beautiful hat like this. I know there's been some delays because of the COVID-19 situation. I haven't checked it recently, but the merch store should be up and running from that site over there. But as far as running and maintaining, so if you can repeat the earlier question there for me again.
Well, how happy are you with your current membership size? How happy are you about maintaining that membership size? And are you impressed with the growth that you've had with?
What's been impressive is the yes. Okay, so thank you for the wonderful question. What's been impressive is the growth of Star Citizen and the amount of people coming. This past week, we had the Invictus event, which you all know. And we saw a massive influx of new people joining not only TEST, but coming to back the Star Citizen project with record funding on top of that too. So as people join Star Citizen and they filter down and find the orgs which they like, we end up getting a lot from that too. So there's definitely a massive amount of members who join because they find Star Citizen, they're going, okay, what org should I join? They find branding they like, or they find other material which they find interesting, and in they go. So as far as outreach and propaganda from us, obviously there's my Twitter account, which I started recently, and I post pretty pictures of things we do, of ops that we do. Excuse me, I got hiccups, excuse me. And again, as I mentioned briefly earlier, our early success was because we hit up social media, YouTube, and Twitch much earlier than anyone else did. We had a very active stream team at one time, the TEST Gaming stream team, which Griffin, by the way, is kicking off again. And a large part of our growth was attributed to the success of early streamers in Star Citizen, finding their way to streamers, finding their way from the streamer to what org they belonged to, which was a TEST, and they made their way here. My YouTube channel, which is the most awesome channel on all of YouTube for Star Citizen. Board Gamer is real bad at what he does, and he's just like the viewership he does. But every time I put out a video, I get 10, 15 people saying, hey, I saw your video. I really like what you guys are doing, and they join. And I'm always very grateful, and it's nice to have people reach out and say that they like what they see and they join because of that. So it's become, in essence, a real media and propaganda type learning curve to understand, what to put out, what people like. And listen, not everyone likes it. Some people go, I watched your stuff and it's absolute crap. I'm leaving TEST. Okay, that happens too. But overall, yeah, it's been an interesting lesson in marketing. I guess that would be the overall term for it. It's a lot of marketing.
Let me cut in real quick. OM1, Dr. Drones, Community Manager Steve, VerseCon, Texas. Hey guys, Major Static, and Skate Jerry Skate. Thank you guys for the hosts. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Klaus.
Now, TEST Squadron has had a reputation as being the bad boys of the verse to the drunken idiots who fly Auroras. Which is correct? And if none of those are correct, how do you personify TEST Squadron?
That is a marvelous question, because I was actually talking to a test member who has not been on for a long time. He dropped into chat yesterday and we were catching up. And he goes, "This place is different." And I said, "Yeah, some things have changed since 2015. You guys may remember Iron. He's one of the fastest and top racers in Star Citizen, also a member of TEST, who has kind of been AFK for 4 years. And he dropped in, like a lot of members do. They go, it takes a special kind of idiot to stick around for 8-9 years in Star Citizen. Majority of people who I hung out with in 2014-15 in the org have not disappeared, but kind of gone off to other things. But they drop back in every once in a while saying, "Hey, this patch looks good. I'm thinking of coming back soon." Some come back and they stay. Others just try the patch and they leave, and they're waiting for a full game. Can't blame them. And what Iron said, which ties into your question, he goes, "This place is different." I said, "Yeah, because things have changed. There's people here who are 16, 17 years old when they joined, who now have finished university and are on the way to become doctors and lawyers.
Yeah, wow.
There's guys like me who have popped out 2 kids in the meantime, and now a family man. And so before, we were all like, yeah, when we had like 300-400 members, we're gonna be the griefers. We're gonna be those guys who just ruins everyone's day in Star Citizen because it's just fun to do." And as we grew to like 500-600 members, there'd be some people going, "You know what? I'm not really into trying to be a pirate or trying to ruin someone's day. I just want to kind of do transport, logistics, or mining." And we'd be like, "Okay, like we can do that." And as our numbers grew and grew, it became more apparent like not everyone wants to be in that kind of, these guys go around drunk and just blow up ships everywhere. People wanted to play other aspects of the game. And so recognizing what the community was saying and how the changing needs of our community was affecting not affecting it, but as more people joined us, more people wanted to do other things. And we have to not change direction. I mean, we still have a pirate part of the org, and we have the Drunken Friday part of the org, and we're the logistic guys and mining guys, but we've kind of gone into divisions. And every division has its own persona, its own leadership, and its own way to do things. And so we've kind of catered to everyone. So are we the group that is the same group as 2013? The answer is no, but also yes, that exists, but not as an entire org. It's a small part of a division down the line.
Absolutely. And Cosmic Trader, by the way, said he joined when he was 12 years old. And if that's true, then my name is spelled Aunt Jemima backwards.
No, that's true. I remember Cosmic when he went through puberty. It was amazing.
So one thing that I've noticed being in TEST is the heart of this very next question basically is what makes TEST unique from other gaming orgs?
Good question. I should have looked at these questions ahead of time to give you a proper answer. But in my experience in other orgs, it really comes down to who you surround yourself with. Every org kind of has its own feel, its own memes, its own minutia. Obviously, leadership affects that too. TEST has the best leadership, magnificent, the best. Everyone says the leadership in TEST is absolute best there is. Everyone knows. It comes down to a lot is essentially the members, because you come into a chat room, you're surrounded by 10, 15, 20 other people. These are the people who set the tone for the org.
Right.
And every org has its own, unique personalities. I mean, people come in just last week. Some people came in, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm looking around for organizations. I want to see what you guys are about." He goes, so he asked, "Should I join TEST?" And I go, "Listen, I can't tell you if you should join TEST or not." There were about 20 of us in the chat room in Discord at the time. I said, "These are the guys, and this guy's from Alabama, and this guy's from California, and we just have some small chit chat." And I said, "Beyond that, I can't tell you if this is the org for you. Shop around. And if you don't find anything else, we're always here." And that's it. And so again, orgs, as much as a leader may try push an org in a certain direction, it really comes down to the active users, the guys who are in there every single day. They set the tone. So Overall, I would say we've got a great batch of people. Did I answer the question there at all?
Yes, you did. Absolutely. As a matter of fact,
Okay.
you basically gave a segue to the next question. Speaking of joining TEST,
Sweet.
how does someone become a member? And is there a criteria for joining TEST Squadron?
Yes, there has to be above average intelligence at least. We become very strict as we've gotten bigger. No, one of the things I wanted to do with TEST, now this comes actually from an experience I had in EVE. Now, when I joined, this is like 2007 or something, this game EVE was popular, and I said, okay, I want to jump in. So I wanted to join some corporation. And they said, no, you can't join. You have to actually sit in the waiting room and have an interview. My mouth is dry. So here I am. I think I was, 23 or 24 at the time. And I had to sit in this in a TeamSpeak room and wait for someone to call me to go for a one-on-one interview. And so after 3 hours of waiting, and like I was working 9-to-5 job. I came home, and like my time is precious to me. I want to hit the gym. I've got dinner to make. There's things to do. I was waiting in a waiting room, and I get pulled down, and the guy goes, "Hello, welcome to whatever this corporation's name is, and my name's so and so, and I want to ask you some questions." Like, okay. Oh, what's your favorite TV show? So, okay, my favorite TV shows, whatever it is, and just a whole bunch of ridiculous, stupid questions to see if I'm a good fit for their stupid corporation in the game. And at the end of the interview, it's like, congratulations, we definitely want you to join. Like, thanks a lot. But I lost the drive to be involved because it was all of like 3 hours of waiting, an hour interview with some 16-year-old asking me a stupid question. And I just didn't want to be involved at that point. So I said, when we started TEST, we actually were considering what's going to be the criteria to be part of this org. It's going to be exclusive. Are there certain things we expect of members? And we decided, no, you know what? Just click and join. If you fit in, you do. If you don't, leave. There's no requirements. There's nothing you need to do, and just hang out. And it was kind of something we debated upon for a long time, whether it would work or not. But here we are. So I guess it worked so far.
Yeah, it has. I gotta ask this question though. This question is just to pop up. Is it an 18 and up org?
Yeah. Well, technically,
that,
yes.
Pop in the 16-year-old.
We've had a 16-year-old join. Like, I was, how old are you? And he goes, I'm 16. They go, okay, you need parental consent. So the guy goes, Mom, can I join this org? And he, yeah, you can, honey. It's like, okay, parental consent. That's good. You're in. But typically 18 plus, just for the sake of, we don't want squeakers and young kids around. I mean, not that there's anything bad happening in chat. There's no adult content. But typically it's better for the sanity of everyone.
Right. Absolutely. Now I'm quite sure a lot of us have done this. And
Joshua H2 in the chat, gifting subs.
Thank you, Scuba Steve. Thank you.
Bring it on, folks. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So,
am I supposed to get paid for being here? Because I'm not getting paid.
Wow.
Get paid through wealth. They get paid through wealth and knowledge, and you get paid through the love that we give you with questions.
That's worthless to me. But anyway, let's continue.
Thanks for the gift subscription.
Running a game org seems to have its ups and downs.
Thank you, Cosmic.
And what are the most common issues that arise when you're leading an org? For those potential org leaders out there.
Wow, okay. I can't speak for all orgs, but the biggest and most common issue we run into are interpersonal conflicts. In order for an org to run efficiently, you need people to get along. When people don't get along, that causes a lot of problems. So most of my day is essentially spent talking to people. Not necessarily mediating arguments, but just chatting. People have concerns. People have arguments. I had a fight with this guy in chat, and I speak to him, and I speak to this guy. A lot of just trying to smoothen things out between people, because for an org to run smoothly, people need to enjoy being around each other. And once you don't enjoy being around the person next to you, then that causes problems. Small orgs probably won't have that much of an issue, but an org our size does. And so until such time where we can hire a full-time HR, I'm telling Griff, like, you should be our HR. Like, I'll pay you $1 a day.
Right.
But yeah, the biggest hurdle and challenge we run into almost daily is just dealing with conflicts between people or members in the org.
Mm.
Do you see yourself being almost like a counselor?
Well, I guess that would be it. I mean, I don't see myself as a counselor. I just see myself as, what people come to me with an issue. I heard someone has an issue. I approach them and I go, what is it I can do to make things better? Is there anything within my power? I mean, obviously I can kick and ban and do what I want, but I'd rather not. If two people, and this happens all the time, there's people who just don't get along. I don't expect everyone to get along. I mean, I can't stand being in the same room as Griffin. Everyone knows this. So if I'm in a certain chat room and Griffin's in the other chat room, okay, we'll just change rooms. So I tell people, it goes, yeah, I hate this guy. He's obnoxious and loud. I can't stand. Go to the other room then. Your options, well, I can't force you to stay in test. Make it work. Don't make it work. Like we offer advice where we can.
Right.
So the most we can do.
Right. It's interesting. So my last question to you, Montoya, at least on this segment, because it seems like I had the toughest one so far. But with Star Citizen being a game in development for over 8 years, it's amazing how many orgs have already formed around it. Literally thousands of orgs out there. How do you keep players in Test Squadron active while you wait for the full game to be released? I think you answered it a little bit earlier, but if you can basically talk about again, how do you keep players in your community active while waiting for the full game to be released?
Wonderful question there. And I have a lot of sympathy for the smaller organizations that are struggling through this, especially with long waits between patches sometimes. Sometimes the patch is very buggy. And there's generally, I would say, the 10% rule, that if you have 1,000 members in your org, roughly 10% might be on at any one time and active in an active game. We have the benefit of being extremely large, and we always have people in. There's been times we've had 500-600 people in chat, and there's been times that we have 50 people in chat. Like, it really fluctuates based upon the patch in the game, and it's a challenge. And I'm really, impressed how a lot of these organizations have kept engaged throughout these years. It's insane that we are waiting around for a game for as long as we have. But then again, look at what we have in this game so far. I mean, every single time I log in, and I did a bed logout, so I wake up in orbit around a planet, and you get out of the bed and you look out the window, and there's just this beautiful view of this moon or planet below you. It still impresses me every single time I've done it. I don't think I'll never stop being impressed by it. And there's a lot of people who feel the same as me. Every time you log in, they go, wow, like this is, we remember why we're here. And obviously the challenge is keeping people engaged, and we're just very fortunate that we have a lot of people who are very engaged in the game that don't need encouragement or a reason to. And we surround ourselves with like-minded people, and here we are.
Yeah. I got to send a shout out real quick. Testies, somebody really special just came into the room. Special in a good way, not the other special guys. Moonshiners, you guys give a shout to Moonshiners.
China!
That's awesome. So
Welcome
good
back.
to see Moonshiners. Awesome. Love it. All right, well, listen, Montoya, real quick, if you can, talk a little bit about structure in the sense of, I don't mean just in the sense of Test Squadron, but if you want to talk about, do you think that, how structured should orgs be? You alluded to the fact that earlier when you had that interview, it was kind of like almost a put off because it was like too much, like over the top, right? Any thoughts on structure when it comes to organizations pulling themselves, as far as their structure and putting themselves together?
Yeah, this is actually something that we find out by trial and error, and a lot of smaller orgs exist. I think all orgs have run into this at some point or another. And there's always going to be people with ambition within organizations who want to climb up the ranks and some people want to sit in the captain seat. Other people are perfectly happy being in the turret gunner, or they want to be an engineer. And I see you just put an image up on the stream there. I don't know where you got that. You're not supposed to show that. That's secret, but once it's up anyway, so let's take a look. So obviously, to run an organization this size, we do need divisions. And I touched on that. I said, there's going to be like drunk squad. Like, these are the guys going out and just drinking. And initially, the whole of TEST was supposed to be that, just messing around and just having a good time, until a guy joined and he goes, listen, I'd love to be a part of TEST, but I don't really drink, so I'm not sure if I can participate in your events. And I said, no, you don't have to actually drink to be part of Drunk Squad. We can do other things. And so having divisions within organizations are essential. I see the ones you put up there. We actually haven't activated a lot of them. Yellow Jackets, we do have. Rock Raiders, we do have. The rest are kind of on hold. Eastern Bloc was active. I'm not sure if the guys are still at it. But the rest of them are kind of on hold for the time being, because once you start dividing up in divisions, there's going to be infighting within that division. There's people who want to come up the ranks. There's people who are pissed off how the guy leading it did not do a good job and they want his job. And it just leads to a lot of conflict and infighting down the line, which is good because you want the cream to float up to the top. But at this early point with no actual game, it doesn't make any sense for people in bounty hunters to be fighting.
I remember you saying that before, that was part of the issue. If there was no game mechanic, it really made no sense to even begin opening those up. Is that still right?
To some extent, yes.
Okay.
But once the problem is, because we're not playing the game 24/7, there'll be a time when I'll wake up in the morning, I'll log in, I'll wake up on the Bengal carrier, and there'll be things to do the whole day. We have to watch out these mining guys here. We have to send people to fight people over there. We need to go exploring a new area over there. There'll be things to do the entire day to keep us busy. Without things to keep you busy, what do you do? And what happens is, what we found in our experience is a lot of conflict between people as they fight over each other to increase the rank within their own divisions. And so I find that I like ambition. I think it's good. But at the same time, I would rather have that kind of ambition and competitiveness once the game is out, not now when there's no game.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Another thing you alluded to earlier, were you going to say something, Cosmic? I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
go ahead.
One of the things you talked about earlier was your early use of YouTube memes. We call it propaganda. This is an example of it. It kind of represented what TEST was supposed to be about. You know, the whole thing with the auroras blotting out the sun, beer, having a good time. How important was propaganda? And I know you've talked about wanting to bring that back a little bit, not because we need to grow, but maybe is it because it's just part of our DNA as an org, or what?
Yeah, we were heavy on the. I guess my style of propaganda is hitting other orgs and other org leaders, but I guess that ties into having a game again, because some of them are good sports about it. Like we would bash corporation, and like they'd bash us back. And like, yeah, like that kind of back and forth conflict was good, but it, again, without the game, it was also taken wrong in many ways. Like, hey, Montoya, like, why are you being such an asshole? What did that guy ever do to deserve this? And I'm like, listen, it's fun for the game, but I think that'll come in time. So we haven't done that kind of propaganda. I think there'll be plenty of time for it once the game comes out. The propaganda we have at the moment, essentially, I'll tweet out pictures and fun events. I'll post images on our forums. On a YouTube video, I'll cover things we did, an event we did. And that's been the extent of it for now. But obviously, propaganda come and goes. I'm looking forward to the day where there's more conflict between organizations in the game itself. I feel that's where we'll really shine. And we're ready for it. We've practiced it. We have tons of material ready to go.
Okay. And the last area I want to ask you about, and someone already asked about this earlier about, swag. But TEST does have a certain aspect of, items, souvenirs, marketing pieces. And I'm not sure that every org is able to do this. I mean, I'm sure there may be orgs, and I know we've gone to CitizenCon, we have seen some orgs that have T-shirts and things of that nature. How big is marketing? Because we don't really push it that much in our org. I mean, we know it's there, but it's not like there's always this constant thing of, hey, go buy some stuff. And here there's a picture of Captain Richard. This was at CitizenCon, I think, when we were in Austin. And he's dressed to the nines. He's even wearing yellow and black. Talk a little bit about that as far as marketing.
Before Montoya steps in, I'd like to thank TEST Squadron for some of those paraphernalia. Thank you.
Oh, you weren't supposed to get any. That was a mistake. Yeah, so that kind of ties into the marketing. So everything you see there was actually put together by Seth. We were going to CitizenCon, and he goes, do you guys have swag? And I said, no, we don't have swag. Like, what do we need? Like, give someone a sticker. I was, no, I'm going to get swag. I'm like, okay, go ahead. So I thought maybe he'll get some stickers and a lanyard, but he went all out and got a whole bunch of stuff and put them into bags himself. So a big shout out to Seth for organizing all that. Prior to CitizenCon, I had actually never been to a gaming convention in my life. So I really had no idea what was involved and what would be needed. Other people had been, so that's why they were hitting me up going, what are we doing? Like, what are we wearing? Is everyone wearing the same shirt? Is there a swag table? And I was like, I have no idea, guys. So, so I think really hit our stride in the last CitizenCon in Austin. Wait, there was one after that. Oh, what was the most recent one?
Well, Austin was the one that we...
No, 2 years ago. Oh my God, what's happening with time?
Yeah, I know, it's that long, yeah.
Manchester? Right, so we had a table there.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
Munkin was there. Maya was there. The table we had set up in Manchester wasn't as extensive. I think we still had the same stuff there, but the last big one was Austin. And we went all out with the merchandising and all that. But see, here's the thing, the merchandise and everything we have for marketing isn't really to attract new members. It's like for the existing members. So I guess, again, once we are close to actually a full game being released, we'll kind of shift the marketing out to more of attracting new people to test. For the time being, all of our marketing is mostly internal and just providing existing members with thanks and shirts and whatever we can to thank them for being here and being such great members of test.
If you don't mind me asking, what's been the biggest item that people have done to support the org? Has it been one thing that's not there is the beer mugs that you guys were doing, and you guys were doing, if I'm not mistaken, shot glasses too, if I'm not mistaken. What was probably the biggest thing? T-shirts, hats. What was the biggest thing that people probably ordered?
The biggest selling item?
Yeah.
Honestly, I have not checked the store on what the sales numbers are, but before events, a good number of shirts are sold. It's not a rule, but it is cool when you're at a test event and everyone's wearing a shirt with a test logo on it. It looks great in pictures, as if we know what we're doing. It makes it look impressive. So we do sell a fair amount of shirts. We also have a fair amount of shirts we give out at events. I would guess, no, actually the mugs have done well too. We haven't done mugs in a while though, because the Ninja Girl, my wife, there you go, Shina just mentioned it. Thanks, Shina. Ninja Girl is the one actually does the mugs, but the sand blaster we use is packed away somewhere because we've moved. And we haven't actually got it out of storage yet. But once that's back out and operating, she'll be back out to do more of those. But yeah, I think the mugs were a big hit. Shot glass is always popular. And the shirts. And obviously this hat.
Yeah, obviously
$500.
I had to twist your arm to get my hat now that I think about it. But,
I wanted to be special. I want to be the only person wearing the hat.
Yeah, I know. I think there's only probably like 3 or 4 in existence. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's change the gears a little bit, and let's talk a little bit about Star Citizen itself. Does having such a large membership help or hinder test when it comes to playing a game like Star Citizen? I mean, we know it's going to be an MMO. It's going to run 24/7, similar to a game like Eve. Having so many people, how do you manage that in a game that's actually very big?
It's been a bit of a hindrance at the moment due to lack of server meshing. We're in a room and there's a bunch of people in the server. Say 33 people manage to get into one server, and then over the course of an hour or two, another 20, 30 people end up in the chat room, go, hey guys, I want to join you. Well, sorry, we can't just all get in the server now. So it's been a problem in that sense. But one day in the future, when they get this working and we can get everyone into instances or however they're going to mesh your servers together, it'll work a lot better. The problem is essentially like you go right now into Discord and you want to jump in with a couple people you see playing and it says server full. So what do? They're off having fun and you want to get in with them, but the server's full and they're not logging out now because they're in the middle of an op. Now you're stuck on the outside and waiting for them to finish. So I'm looking forward to the day where if we in an organization, I don't know how they plan on doing it, but if you have a base or you have a fleet and everyone's in the same area, can 100, 200, 300 people all be connected in some way? I think smaller orgs will have a lot easier. They don't have to worry about trying to squeeze in 100 people or so into a single instance. They can just jump in with their 30 or 40 friends and good to go. That is a technical issue we'll deal with when the time comes.
Okay.
So a bit of a hindrance in that you can't get everyone where you need them at the same time, But again, if the game does what they promise and we do get server meshing like they explain we will, I think it'll be obviously a major advantage to having 5,000 people
Okay.
rammed onto one ship.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Now you've watched the evolution. We've all watched the evolution of Star Citizen and its development over the past several years, right? But can you? Because I have a whole bunch, but this isn't the Colossal show. This is the Montoya show today.
Damn straight it is.
Can you name something you feel that they've done right? And today we're talking about CIG. Can you name something that you feel that they've done right, and something that they could have done better for the gaming community?
Holy cow, that's oh my god, how much time do we have?
One item of each, please.
Okay. Can I name things that CIG, or rather CI as they're called now, Invisible G, the invisible enemy, G, have done wrong? Look, okay, let me start with done right, because that's a short list.
Oh.
Not to bash Star Citizen too much. But here it ties into it, right? Because they are in a very unique position to make something which doesn't come out very often. In fact, if it comes out once every 10 years or every 20 years, maybe. But Chris Roberts is in a position where he says, this is how I envision this game being, and I want to make it this way, and he can do it. The funds are unlimited at this point. Every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. If tomorrow they come out and say, yeah, we're putting out a new Tavaran ship that looks like the Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's going to be $200, dude, here's $200. I'm buying that right away. Yeah, like the funding continues and continues, and they've really hit a sweet spot in that. And so when it comes to the marketing and just the spot they found themselves in from a business perspective, you have to admire that. What's happened here will be discussed in business schools and will be in a course of Kickstarters and how to promote a business for decades to come. They'll look back and go, look how these guys did it. That's insane. So definitely what they've done right. And a lot of people are critical about the marketing. They go, oh, it's brainwashing. They're tricking you. It's a sunk cost fallacy because now you're invested. You have to admire what they've pulled off. And they continue to do it. So that is impressive, what they've done. And that ties into also what Chris Roberts wants to see. Because you remember originally the plan was that if you see a planet, you click on this point and there'll be a loading screen and it'll go on rails. We'll take you to the clouds the loading screen, and it'll put you down on the spot, and now you're on the planet. And Chris Roberts said, you know what? Let's do procedurally generated planets at every single mountain and valley and cave. You can actually see from space and go down and do that. How long will this take, guys? And his engineers go, well, first of all, you're crazy. Second of all, it's going to take 2 years. Third of all, it's going to cost another $200 million. And Chris Roberts said, well, okay, let's do it. And here we are. So it's great that they pushed the envelope of what games can be for PC. We were all starving for good space sim PC content, which did not exist since Wing Commander days, which I didn't play. But we've been starving for it. And here it is. Now, it's not perfect, and it's taking a long time. What they could have done better is been more, I don't even know if they could have been more accurate with the time, because we all remember 2016, 17, we thought that Squadron 42 is around the corner. Here we are, 2020. We were supposed to get a video about some kind of teaser about Squadron 42. Where is it? So they run into issues all the time, and here's the advantage and disadvantage of the funding model they have is that there's no deadline. Cyberpunk has a deadline. We got to be out by August because that's when we're funded up to. It has to come out. And so they will polish, will do everything they can to get at that time. Star Citizen doesn't have that timeline. They can say, we are working on this now. And you know what? This new thing came up. They'll be really cool. This might take 6 more months and might take another $5 million. But you know what? We have it. We have the time and we have the money. So good, money coming in good. Bad, they can keep on always trying to improve things. But again, from what we've seen and from the game loops we've seen, and especially since they put up the roadmap, we have a much clearer picture of where we should be. The roadmap we have now, this system should have been in place from the very, very beginning. There was a patch, was a 3.0 from 3.0 to 3.0. I can't remember. There was a period of 6 to 8 months where there was complete silence, and we had no idea what was happening. because there was no roadmap to stick by. At least with a roadmap, we have a picture of what they're trying to do. And I know people get pissed off when they take out this item, they push it through the next month, but at least we have a vision and see what they're trying to do, and it's happening. So yeah, Scuba Steve saying between 2.6 and 3.0, I think that could have been the period. So yeah, lessons learned from CIG is if CIG could go back in time, if they can invent a time machine, which they could do for another $200 million in 5 years, and go back in time, a roadmap from day one, clearly outlining where they need to be, would have made a huge difference, at least giving us an understanding of what they're trying to do. But look, there's no excuses to be made. They messed up a lot on promising things which did not come out. We know why. Certain aspects of the game which they said would be happening in 2016 have not happened. And I mean, just having a better understanding of where they needed to be from day one. Chris Roberts needed to bring in managers. He needed to bring in people that could say no to him. We have that now, but in the early days, that did not exist. I mean, I could speak for another hour on that, but let me know if I've covered some of it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
This year
gave a soliloquy.
Well, this year, due to the COVID epidemic, CitizenCon has been postponed till next year, and we normally would have been in Los Angeles in like October, probably. I think it would have been October. Do you feel that the cancellation of CitizenCon will speed up development, particularly for Squadron 42, because we know that they have to spend a lot of time and resources prepping for that? Or do you feel it won't make any difference in the development for Squadron or for Star Citizen?
All right, so they do bring key players to Star Citizen events, and they got to be there for a couple of days before and a couple of days after, and everyone drinks to get drunk. So there are some days which are missed. But overall, what is a missed week in the bigger picture? Not much. Plus, there's still hundreds and hundreds of employees still working on things while the main guy, the boss or the manager, might be out at CitizenCon. It doesn't mean that his entire department has come to a halt. There's still 5, 10, 15 people working beneath him, still doing everything that needs to be done. And we have this magical thing called internet and telephones and FaceTime where you can talk to the guys still at the office, and they're into an issue, they can call him. And so work continues without the head of the department still there while he's giving his talk at CitizenCon. So I don't feel CitizenCon is a big hindrance. A lot of people bitch and complain that they should focus on making the game and stop CitizenCons. But CitizenCon is an essential part of the community and the glue of this community for us to interact with the employees there, and also for the rest of the org leaders and those of you in organizations to meet face to face with people in your orgs. And this is something I forgot to mention when you asked me the question about running the organization, the challenges. And the challenges are essentially, like I said, just the interpersonal relationships, and face to face meetings in CitizenCon are so important and essential to building those relationships with your fellow org mates and for org leaders with the other guys in their org. It's one of the things which I actually consider that one of the most essential times of the year for every single org leader to be available to, if possible, for them. So yeah, definitely a big hit for Star Citizen not having it. The biggest hit is for the orgs themselves who look for the entire year to get together. You talk to, like I speak to Griffin daily almost on Discord, and CitizenCon is the one time a year we get together and talk shit about other people.
Then we don't talk to each other when we're there, so it makes a difference. But
Exactly.
Joshua, Moonshiners, Kovics, thank you guys for the follow. Appreciate it. Interesting you mentioned about that, Montoya, because I didn't realize how strong the social dynamic was when I went to the con. I was pretty much thinking, this was all going to be about going to the event at the center. But it was more, I think that was almost like 1/3 of the time that I was there. The rest of the time was everything from the Bar Citizen that happened the night before. TEST Squadron sponsored a barbecue at someone's home, which was really great. Spent a lot of time getting to know people, which was very, very cool. There was even the benefit of being able to share rooming with people who were members of the org, where if I was not a part of an org, I would have been down there.
That was a horrible mistake. Never
yeah, I
share
know.
room.
Yeah, I know. But the fact that I was able to do that it made it easier for me to come down and also to get to meet people that were there. So, and I also find it unique to a game that has not been out yet, that each year the con has grown more and more. There's more and more people coming to it as well. We don't really have that final product yet, and still people definitely spend money to travel globally. And when we were in LA, Meyer came from the UK. There were several people that flew across the pond to come, and that was 4 years ago. So to me, it's interesting that there's that much commitment, to going to something like CitizenCon.
Yeah, it's definitely. Sorry, Kelosal, you want to say something?
No, I just want to say thanks for the raid, Kimmy. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Kimmy. Appreciate it.
There's just 2 people. What the hell?
Hey, there's 2 more people than
Get out
we
there and
had.
get more people.
There's 2 more people than what we had. That's
say
great.
hello
We're
to.
happy for it.
Take that raid back. We don't want it.
It's so silly.
Yeah, before Kelosal was so rudely interrupted. Absolutely correct. Again, it's the strange. We'll look back once this game is out and we're 10, 15 years into it. What got all these people together to fly from around the world to go to Texas or to go to LA and attend an event for a game in alpha?
Yeah.
It's a fascinating marketing question. It's a fascinating business development cycle which they have. And like I said, I think this will be studied in business school for decades to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I have the utmost honor to ask you one of the best questions in the world. By the way, the number is 12, by the way. And here's the question. The question is, would you care to give us your prediction as to when Squadron 42 will be announced and when Star Citizen will go into beta?
I think we've learned from Chris Roberts' mistakes. What happens when you make predictions, right?
That's why we're putting you on the spot.
Well, here's what. So give me 1 second. I just hear a child calling my name. I just want to let you guys know that I have had sex and produced children. I have proof. I can hear it coming down the stairs.
It's procreated.
1 second.
My whole prediction.
Yeah, I know. It'll be interesting to see what number this is.
So, all right. This is actually a funny here's a funny thing. I just had a comment on one of my YouTube videos. This is like a 2018 video where I said that I think Squadron 42 will be out in 2019. And I had a comment just recently on that video. I don't know why it showed up on my phone. People go back for some reason, and the comment was cringe. Yeah, look, I don't want to pretend to understand exactly what the delays are or why. I think as we all know, we were all supposed to see some part of Squadron 42 shown to us. And what we think happened was there were some spoilers which Chris Roberts didn't want us seeing, so they're redoing the video for us before they put it out to us again. And look, until it actually comes out, we won't get a real answer of what exactly the delay was. The best we have to go by is what we have in the roadmap for Squadron 42, which is what, Q4 for a beta.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because of coronavirus, I don't want to say they'll use it as an excuse, but I'm going to say they're going to use it as an excuse for Q1 2021. At this point in time, I don't think we'll be surprised. But in all fairness, I think shifting work for people to work from home has caused some delays and may have caused some delays. So if we do see an announcement that it's going to be Q1 to 2021, then I think it's expected at this point. I don't think any of us are going to be shocked. At this point, I just want to see the beta. Mm-hmm. And I think once we have a beta, we'll have a much clearer picture where it goes from there. But I can't actually make a prediction at this point.
Okay. Well, that was a nice, honest answer. Like I said, I said it earlier, 12 months.
Well, Cosmic Trader is saying Star Citizen Q1 2022. So it's on Cosmic
2022. Ooh. Wow. Oh, for Star Citizen, he said. Okay, I'll buy that for $1. Okay. All right, we got some questions from the audience. What's your name? Not Cosmic. What's your name? Montoya. Yeah. One of the first questions is, given how big TEST, this is from Fastcart, given how big TEST is, many people, as with Star Citizen, are hoping to see it fail. What is your response to people who say that, and what are you doing to prevent that from happening?
What am I going to do to prevent Star Citizen from failing? It's nothing.
No, from TEST Squadron.
No, so that's an interesting. Well, this is actually a question that can lead to an hour discussion. How much time do we have?
You got 30 seconds.
Oh shit!
You got a couple minutes.
I find this strange. I was going to say,
is it
I was going
envy?
to call it. I was going to call it cancel culture, but then you'll shout at me for getting into politics. But the strange subculture that's developed that want to see the game fail for the sake of saying, "Aha, I told you so." It's alien to me, the concept, because there's games I don't like that I don't play, and I've never gone. I'm trying to think of a recent example. The most recent one I can think of is No Man's Sky, which this is after they fixed it, and people are saying now it's good. So I bought the game, jumped into it, landed on the first planet that said I had to collect some black stuff to make this steel plate for the engine to take off, and I did that, and I made the steel plate, and I took it from an hour into the game, and I wasn't into it, and I go, this is not interesting to me. Actually, this is stupid. Unpopular opinion, because people do like the game. And so I refunded the game. And after refunding the game, I have not been back to a subreddit, a forum, a YouTube channel. I have not been anywhere that talks about No Man's Sky. I'm just not interested. That's just how I deal with things I have no interest in. So for me to see people dedicating hours upon hours upon hours to bash Star Citizen, it's weird. What are you gaining from this? So what's happening in your life that you're dedicating so many hours into trying to convince people that this is a scam that is going to fail and it's never going to be a game? What's happening in your life that this is what you're doing with your time? And look, I'll confess, I just don't understand those kind of people. I have better things to do with my time. But if this is what you dedicate your life to doing, is sitting there in a channel and telling people the game's a scam, never going to be made, well, okay, that's on you. Now, the thing is that if you had said this game is a scam back in 2014, all right, 50-50. Who knows how the funding will go? By 2016, it's still going on, still more funding, games still happening, less of a scam. By 2020, where we're closing in on 300 million right now. This is going to be a record year. Is the game a scam? No, we are in the game. We are playing the game. There's more game loops coming in all the time. There's new systems coming in all the time. There's more things happening in the game all the time. In fact, there's guys right now in our Discord who spend hours upon hours upon hours playing the game every single day. Those numbers not dwindling. More and more people are joining them every single day and also playing the game more and more. So there's not going to be a point in time where they'll go, today, the game is out.
Yeah.
There's not going to be that time. The thing is, it's a long, uptrending path that more and more people will just be playing more and more game loops come in, and more systems come in. And before we know it, there's people playing for 1,000 hours, 2,000 hours in the game. So in that sense, it is not a scam. The game is out. For some people, the game is out. For others who are waiting on maybe bounty hunting, on data running, or on exploration, they don't have the game loops in. But when those game loops are in, those people will be in. So again, I can't speak for why people, actually I can speak for why people want to see it fail. Some people want to see the world burn. Basically that. Some people walk along the beach to see a kid building a sandcastle. They go down there and kick down that sandcastle because that's the kind of person they are. Other people want to build a sandcastle. They'll go back and say, here, kid, let me help you build it. There's those people who want to destroy and just shit on things, and those people who want to make the world better. Okay. I think that's basically the division we see.
Well, that was a good answer to the question that wasn't asked.
Check my notes. We'll burn the world down, make things better. Yes.
Wait. No. I know. Actually, I like the answer. You answering that question, but I think they were also saying that there are people who feel that way about TEST Squadron. Like, it's so big, it's no way it's going to sustain itself. You know, it's no way. Saying,
okay, this I understand.
Okay.
When I started TEST, and we had 100 members, and Imperium, I spoke to before, Imperium was a large mega org, 3,000 people, faceless organization. They are going to fail. And I was the one saying, Imperium is too big. They will fail. The org is crumbling already, is what I've heard. And the reason I was saying that is to make me feel better about my small organization, because look how bad those guys are. They may have 3,000 members and beautiful forums, such an active community, but the cracks are showing. They will crumble any day now, is what I was saying, because I was trying to make myself feel better, and just shit on other orgs to make other people think that they really suck. But as we've grown, now we're on the receiving end of that. So when we hit 5,000 members, TEST Squadron is too big. We're going to fall apart any day now. When we hit 10,000 members again, we're going to fall apart any day now. When we hit 15,000, well, okay, that's way too big. We're going to fall apart any day now. So it continues. I just let you guys know that we're close to falling apart any day now.
Well, Okay, fair
8 years
enough.
later.
Yeah, we're still falling apart, right? Okay.
With,
Here's
with,
a,
with a beer in our hand.
state. You know what it is? We're in a constant state of falling, like orbit. When something's in orbit, it's always falling, right? That's where we
Yeah.
are.
Colossal, have you got the questions open?
Nope.
Okay, don't worry about it. Question from Callius. What is the most enjoyable thing for you as a leader of Test Squadron? And what do you like most about the org and the people that are in it? There's an assumption there that he likes us, guys, so we'll have to see what happens with here.
Yeah, I love that question. I can't be everywhere at all times. So while I might be out doing a bounty mission with 3 or 4 other people, there's things happening in mining, there's thing happening in, there's a jailbreak happening. And I love seeing when people post up a picture and they go, hey guys, we just did a prison break. And they post a picture of like 6 or 7 guys decked out in yellow armor, standing triumphantly at the exit of the prison. And I go, that looks awesome. I love seeing that. And I love seeing people having a good time playing together. And I love seeing the pictures and the video they put out of what a good time they had, which was originally one of the purposes of the media outreach we had in the org was just there's going to be so many people doing other things. How do we know what's happening in different areas, different divisions? And just seeing people post stuff up in our Discord, on the forums, I think we were stranded on a planet. Who was it in that video? I heard you laughing in it, where the Carrack crashed to the ground and tumbled
there were
in.
a bunch of us, that went down.
Yeah, so that stuff, that warms my heart when I see people laughing and having a great time, just doing what they're doing in the org. That's my favorite thing to see.
Okay. And we'll take one more question, actually. This is from one of our Soul citizens from Fast Card again. He asked, at the barbecue at CitizenCon 2016, you kissed him on the forehead for his birthday, and his head has not been the same since then. He asks, can that be said the same about your lips?
That is a very clear memory to me because it was a hot day outside, and he was sitting in the sun, and his head was very sweaty. And when I went down to pick him on the head, I got a wet, sloppy kiss out of it. I can still taste the salt on my lip. And actually, I was just thinking about that because CitizenCon is generally around the time of Fastcart's birthday. So we're going to be missing his birthday this year. So sorry to miss it, Fastcart, and we'll make it up for your next one, right?
Yeah, you're right. He usually comes down and celebrates a couple of days beforehand. He was looking forward to it this year. So, we're going to miss out on that with hanging out with Fastcart.
Well, next year, hopefully. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we are going to wrap it up. Colossal, you got anything you want to ask off the top of your head? This is the first time you put him on the spot because everybody's watching him. Is there anything you want to ask him?
I just want to, my motto is shoot first and beg for forgiveness later. This is the time that I beg for forgiveness. So
here it comes.
Say thank you to Montoya for allowing me to pepper him with wonderful questions, and I appreciate it.
That is the most insincere comment I've heard in my life. Tell me what you really feel.
Thank you. It was a privilege to ask you these questions. Thank you so much.
Lies again.
And thank you, Griffin, for having me on to ask them.
Oh, as always, man. To Reload and Nerdy, thank you guys for following. For all of you who followed tonight and subscribed, we really, really appreciate it. Shiner's got to say it again. So happy to see you. Hope you're doing well. I think you're still out on the West Coast. Is that correct? And if so, I hope you are doing good. And for everybody who tuned in, appreciate you guys spending this Sunday evening with us. Montoya, again, could you let everybody know where they can find you at on Twitch or Twitter or wherever it is you want them to look for you? And also a plug for Test Squadron too.
Yes, thank you. My OnlyFans page is TestSquadron.com for our forums, which is a great place to hang out and meet people if you're into forums. Discord.gg/test is our Discord. We have a new platform we're on called Gilded.gg/test. We're there too. And obviously, Robert Space Industries, if you go into the orgs, you'll find test is the org ID on there. Oh, Twitter, Montoya_test. I've been using Twitter more actively the past couple of months. I think, YouTube. Strangely enough, it's called Test Squadron, which is the channel name. I think that covers the social media.
You know what? You didn't talk about, just real briefly, would you talk a little bit about State of the Squadron? Because you didn't talk about that at all.
About what it is? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Actually, State of the Squadron was supposed to be a show I did quarterly. I said once every 3 months, I will put on a show filling everyone in on what happened in the organization. And I've never had a YouTube channel. I've had no interest in having a YouTube channel or being on camera in any way. But I thought it would be an effective way to reach a larger audience that might not all be online at the same time. So that's how that started. The YouTube channel started up specifically for State of the Squadron. And it's kind of grown into a bit more beyond that. But essentially, it's a show that will more so be involved in just updating everyone on things happening. And this is actually the line I use, things happening in and around Star Citizen and TEST Squadron. So when you wake up in the morning, and TEST Squadron now has 3 Bengal carriers. We had 3 Bengal carriers the day before. This morning we have 2. What happened? Well, you know what? Here's the footage. While you were sleeping, we were attacked by this and this and this. Here's the footage of us losing the Bengal carrier. Here is the retaliatory strike we had against that. These guys are mining. Check out this amazing rocket fight. I want to put all this out in the YouTube channel. So everyone who, it's going to be impossible for everyone to be everywhere, but at least you can see what's happened in different aspects of the org around the universe that will exist. And basically just keep everyone in touch and up to date with everything.
Okay, very cool. All right. Kelosal, I don't know, is there anything you want to put out there social media-wise or anything? Or are you still invisible, keeping your incognito state?
Yeah, I'm still invisible.
Yeah, okay. Yep, you all pray for the prices of webcams to go down so Kelosal can buy him a good webcam, because I know he is not going to pay $400 for a webcam at any time.
I've seen him stream with a 4K cam. He's lying. There's something going on there.
I'm still waiting for Logitech to bring out this stuff. Spaceware. Got that 10% card.
Oh, wow, you're waiting. Okay, well, let's hope it happens then. All right, and again, I'm GriffinGamingRPG, and again, we really appreciate you guys being here. Hopefully, next week we will be doing our show. Each month we've been taking on going back and watching one of the Citizen Cons as we head towards Citizen Con 2020. There is still going to be a Citizen Con. It's just not going to be a place where we could go as an expo, but they are going to still do stuff. But next week we're going to be doing 2015. So for all of you folks who never saw that, or you old timers, you guys join us next week. We will be going through Citizen Con 2015 and reviewing what was going on back at that time and whether it matches up with what we have right now. So again, thank you guys for joining us, for hanging out with us on a Sunday night. Please take care of yourselves. For those of you who are praying people, pray for our nation and all the craziness that's going on, and things will get better and better and better. And our world, for that matter, because we got folks watching from all over the world.
What's happening out in the real world? Is something happening?
Nah, not really. Nah. But anyway, we're going to do a raid. Let's see who we have on tonight. And we've got, that's somebody we haven't hit before. Let's hit Red Lear. He's, no. We're going to do somebody who's doing Star Citizen. So let's go to, no, they don't need any hits.
I think Pink Sparkles is on.
No, no, we're not going to go to Pink Sparkles. But we will support Red Lear because Red Lear is definitely a Star Citizen streamer. And we're going to bounce him. So you guys give a shout to Red Lear. And hopefully we will see you guys back next week. Until then, we're going to say peace, love, and soul. And everybody have a great week. Take care of yourselves out there. See you soon.
Take care, guys.